Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker Podcast. This podcast started because myself, Dan McCabe, had a question. The question was, how do you build a big team fast in network marketing? So I asked a good mentor of mine, Dr. David Peach, who is a Hall of Famer, 250,000 customers in his downline, tens of thousands of representatives, and he just started spilling the beans. Started telling me everything, not just what worked in the past, but what he is doing in the future to really grow and build his business. I said, hey doc, this needs to be a thing. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to turn this into a podcast. So here it is, the secret straight from his mouth into your ears. Whatever we can do to help you and the industry grow is what we're here for. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. Hey, what's up? It's Dan McCabe, and you are listening to the All-In Networker Podcast. So today's episode, you will realize that I am flying solo. Dr. David Peach had something come up, and he is on an airplane right now and traveling. So he had something that he needed to do, and when that comes up, and I am always incredibly humbled to be working with him and co-hosting this podcast with him, and everything else that I just say, just go. I will handle it. I will figure it out. So often in life, here's a life lesson for all of you for all of the time. Sometimes you just go with the flow and you just do what needs to get done. I know a podcast needs to get done. I know that he is not available. I recognize the general opportunity of getting to work with him on a regular basis. And when he has something he needs to do, I just take care of it. And I will continue to take care of it. That's true in your life. When you're in your network marketing business, whatever business you're running, your internet marketing business, most likely your network marketing business, if you are listening to this, there will be days where you just need to go with the flow. You will get knocked down. You'll feel like you just caught a right hook across the jaw, and you need to pick yourself back up and just keep going. You need to look at the situation as it sits right now and determine what is your next best step forward. We can go back and live through this revisionist history where I'm like, well, if this would have happened, then I would have taken this step. But that doesn't matter. As quickly as you can let go of things that happened in the past, even if they happened 10 minutes ago, as quickly as you can let go of them and move forward into the future, the better your life's going to be, the easier your business is going to be. So especially in network marketing, we talk about it all the time, being able to brush off the nose. I mean, that stuff happens fast. But the second it happens and it's done, it's in the past. And then it's how do you step forward? Like, well, that person who I thought for sure was going to say yes because they're perfect for the product and they know so many people, they say no to you and they take the wind out of your sails and you leave that meeting, you get into your car and you're feeling dejected. It's instantly in the past. And how do you deal with what is in the past? You can either deal with it like, man, everything would have been so great if that person would have just said yes. I could have done so many things. I would have done this. I would have done this. I would have done this. I would have reached out to them. Oh man, my business would have just exploded. I would have been a millionaire within 2 years, or you can be like, well, they said no. What's my next best step forward? Who's the next person I talk to? Who's the next, person I reach out to? What is the next automation? What's the next system I put in place in my business? What is the next piece of marketing I do to get in front of another high quality prospect? So, everything is really, what do you make of it now? And how do you move forward with it all the time? So anyways, that was like a weird tangent from Dr. Peach had to take a quick trip. And I'm like, well, I'll just jump forward and do the podcast. There's no long-term effects really of him having to go out of town at the last minute. We'll be back here next week recording another episode and we'll make sure to get in here live. But when you've had the success and built the business that he has, occasionally you got to take a last minute trip and you need to go work on a part of the business or do something for the organization. And so, actually, we didn't even really talk about what he's doing. Maybe they're going to Disney World for all I know. But either way, I just got the text saying you need to fly out. So here we are. All right. Here's what I want to talk about today. So one of the big things and one of the big revelations that I've had in my business. And a lot of people ask me, why am I always so calm? And it has a lot to do with systems and automation built into business. At the same time, it's that I've just learned I'm more effective when I'm in a calm state. So I do absolutely everything that I can to remain as even keel as humanly possible. Some people on my old team, when I used to build a lot, would call me the guy with no emotions because I just didn't really show them. I was always very good at just looking forward and not looking backwards. But at the same time, I'm always trying to stay calm, and I always try to find things that will help keep me calm. I've got, after this podcast recording, I'm recording it now because I need to run off and help my in-laws with a couple things. They're getting ready to sell their house, and I offered to come over there and help with a couple things. Then I'm going to go to the climbing gym, which I find to be a very relaxing thing for me. I go by myself. I got that time to just kind of wander around. It's really nice right now because of the pandemic. I mean, there's few things that are nice about the pandemic. We'll all agree with that. But the climbing gym is nice because they only allow so many people in at a time. It's never crowded. You know, I show up and there's like 6 other people in this 20,000 square foot facility, and I'm just off there by myself. So it's a great place for me. So I go and do that. And then I'll come back and I'll work a little bit more this afternoon. For people saying, well, you don't work much. Well, I kind of do because I was up at 4:30 this morning, and I do a lot of the things that I want to do early in the morning before there's any distractions. But with all that being said, I know I talked about this on some videos, maybe a podcast, maybe the last time I had to do one of these All-In Networker podcasts solo. But I did an interview about a month, 5 weeks ago, somewhere in there, with a gentleman who was a huge proponent of the 4-hour work week, and he had gotten his life down to 1 hour a week of work. And he was an interesting guy, and he ran a consulting business that was outside of network marketing. But really, when you break it down, the fundamentals are still the same. And I had that conversation with him, and I have a history of being a self-imposed workaholic. We don't always necessarily need to. I fully understand and am fully aware that when I work less, I'm generally way more effective and I get more done, and I'm not nearly as stressed. But sometimes I just feel like I need to put in those hours. And so often in network marketing, people get put in this position by upline leaders and everybody else. We run the all-in networker community. Our whole philosophy is about going all in, going absolutely all in, into your business and making it happen. Dr. Peach, 1,000 presentations in 1,000 days. He went all in, and he put forth this massive physical and mental effort in order to get it done. And we will always, come back to that story and talk about that being, a necessity as you are building and growing your business, putting in that big physical and mental effort up front, because that's what keeps most people from succeeding. Most people don't succeed in this industry or in business or in life because they aren't willing to do what it takes, even if it is for a short period of time. 1,000 days seems like a long period of time, but look back 15 years ago and think about what you did for 1,000 days in a row. You probably don't remember what you did for 4 of those days. If you look back 15 years, in the past right now, and like, man, if I would have put in that 1,000 days and put forth into a business that's paying me a residual income every single month, for the next 10, 15, 20 years, the rest of my life, would I go back and do it? Most likely you're going to look back at those years. So often we're trying to live in the now. So going all in is putting forth that, that physical and mental effort up front and putting yourself out there. A big part of going all in is going all in emotionally and allowing yourself to take the abuse of the nose, the getting shot down, the constant effort that seems to go unrewarded for so long, just knowing that you are going in the right direction. Because that's a big part of what network marketing is. Network marketing is beautiful because of the opportunity to build an entire ecosystem of a team that compounds on its own, and developing leaders, and those leaders going out there and building a business. And when they build, you make more money because of the effort you put in with them. But we all know that not everybody we recruit is going to become that leader. We know that in order for us to find that leader, we need to talk to somebody else, sign somebody up. Okay, they got potential. Spend some time with them. Nope, not them. Move on, talk to somebody else. And we have to put forward that effort. We got to take those steps. There's no way around it. No way. We've got an awesome course called Shark Hunting that we are releasing in a big way here in this next week. And it's all about going out there and finding sharks for your network marketing. But it's a great course. I mean, the philosophies, the strategies for doing it are all true. They're how Dr. Peach was recruited in the first place. They're how he found some of his best people. It is the philosophy behind going out there and finding those people for your business is great, but you still need to talk to them. The fundamentals are the same. You still need to take the step forward. Take the step forward, get knocked down. Take the step forward, get knocked down. Take the step forward, get knocked down. And eventually you'll find that person. You'll find that person that will do it. So it becomes worth it. So we've got that coming out. It's kind of funny. I just said that, like, take the step forward, get knocked down. Take the step forward, get knocked down. I was listening in on a big network marketing company conference this past weekend, and it was all of these different lessons, for 2 days. All of these lessons, each one was 45 minutes long, an hour long. There was a topic. There was a very powerful motivational speech or lesson with every piece of it. Well, at the same time, if you stepped back at the very, very, very end, if you stepped back and you looked at the whole thing and you looked at each one as like a collective group of lessons, every single one was saying you will face adversity. How you succeed in life is going to be how you overcome that adversity, how you rebound from catching something negative in your business. I mean, every single one of them. That's what so many of them talk about. So, it is what it is. It's a big topic. I should have called the podcast that because I've already spent half the time talking about that. But I want to talk about this automation piece because this is important. I want to talk about my buddy who was a big proponent of the 4-Hour Work Week. It's a great book. I kind of obsessed over it over the last few weeks. I bought it years ago and I kind of skimmed through it, but I wasn't really paying attention as much as I should, if you know what I mean. I mean, sometimes we read books just because we think we should, but I wasn't ready to read it. And so I've kind of obsessed over it the last 4 weeks because I really wanted to get down, their philosophy, his philosophy on how he grows and builds businesses. And then I was really working on dialing in, how does this work within network marketing? How does this work within our info marketing business? How does this work within all of the opportunities within our life? Because the 4-Hour Work Week's not just about how do you create a business where you only work 4 hours a week. It's really more about how do you create richness and happiness? How do you live your happiest life all of the time? How do you spend your time doing the things you don't want to do? Everything down to the minute household stuff that you might not think about, the personal stuff that you just don't like doing. How do you outsource that? How do you get this stuff off of your plate? You hate doing laundry. How do you outsource that? You don't want to clean your house. How do you outsource that? Mowing the lawn sucks. How do you outsource that? How do you break down your life? How do you get your expenses in life and your residual income at a level that it's covering all the stuff that you don't like to do? If you don't like to work, how do you outsource that? So the book is really, it's not about how do you get rich. It's how do you better use your time to where your time is the most effective it can be. And that's what we're going to talk about here in regards to network marketing. So I look at network marketing like any other business in the world. And if you break down pretty much any kind of business, there's really, I break it down personally. I mean, there's different people that do it different ways, but I break it down into 4 core things that every business needs. It needs a product, first and foremost. It needs marketing. You need to be able to market the product. Sales, somebody needs to sell it. It needs to bring money in. And finally, deliverability. You need to be able to deliver the product. And then within each of these categories, there's some subcategories. Like in deliverability, customer service would be one of those categories. Who handles complaints? Who handles all that kind of fun stuff? Within sales, within network marketing, it's easy. It's how do you handle sales? Well, you build a team and you build leaders. So we're going to talk about each one of those components here just a little bit and how they work towards network marketing, and maybe just some ideas on how you can best outsource them to most effectively use your time. Because when you've got those goals in mind and that becomes what you are working towards and you understand where you're best fit in your business, life's going to become more fun. Life's going to become more fun. It's going to become easier. You're going to have a clear path and you're going to know where you're going, where you want to go, where you want to be. And you know what? I can do the parts of the business that I don't like. I can do the parts that I personally think suck, that just aren't fun for me, if I know it is leading towards an end where I don't have to do it anymore. If it is leading towards the final plan of me not having to be involved. So I will do those things. I can suck up and do them for a period of time if I know that there's an end goal. A lot of times people don't have an end goal. when it comes to what it is that they're doing. They've got a system, they got a plan that works, but it only works if they work it. And they don't have a plan to remove themselves from that situation. If you don't have a plan to remove yourself from the situation, you really just have a job. And a lot of us did not get into network marketing, into entrepreneurship to have a job. We got in there to ultimately find freedom, whatever that freedom is for us. Financial freedom, time freedom, fun freedom, happiness freedom, whatever that is for you, that is why we are actually there. So we'll start with product. Product, and I mean, actually, well, product and deliverability, they kind of go hand in hand when it comes to my philosophy and how I'm breaking this down. But within network marketing, they go hand in hand because that's why you join a company. That's why you join a network marketing company. You know, you break down those 4 core things you need for business: product, marketing, sales, deliverability. You are outsourcing the product portion of that when you join a company. You can create your own products. Millions and millions of entrepreneurs over the years have created their own products, whether they're widgets, notebooks, digital products, info products, membership sites, whatever. Plenty of people have created their own product, but you need the product. When you're joining a network marketing company, you are outsourcing the product piece. You have found somebody that's got resources that you don't have, that created a product that you love. You know, a lot of people would like to create their own supplement company or something like that, but they don't have the millions of dollars of research and knowledge that it might take to create, you know, the supplement company of their dreams. Whereas this company out of wherever has already spent millions of dollars. They got doctors on staff, they got scientists on staff, they got all these resources that you don't have. So you're able to outsource that piece of your business and you can just go sell their product. You know, what's really cool about that too, and sometimes people don't think about it this way, like especially the internet entrepreneurs. They're like, I must create it myself. I've been this person before, by the way. I must create it myself because then I control it and then I own 100% of it. But you know what you own 100% of? You own 100% of the development, 100% of the maintenance, 100% of the customer service. Man, when you join a company, you sell somebody else's product, they're usually paying out between 45 and 55%, if not 60% of the sales of that product to the reps. And the reps, the people selling it, they have no obligation to it after it is sold. I mean, yeah, we've got some moral obligation. If we want to keep customers and we want to get more customers, we're probably the type of person that's going to go above and beyond and make sure that the customer's happy, but we have no real obligation. We have no real obligation to make sure that the product functions as stated, or if the company has a manufacturing mistake and something happens, like it's not necessarily our problem. We outsourced all that. We don't have to do that. And we're keeping 50% of the money. How nice is that? You don't have to do all the development, the headache, the manufacturing, all that up front. You still get half the money. The person who did all that crap and has the big corporate staff and the big office, they only get half that money. Take that deal and run. So product, we're outsourcing that obviously when we join a network marketing company. I'll talk about that commission piece a little bit later, because network marketing companies do pay out 45 to 55, if not 60% of their commission. We'll talk about it in sales a little bit, in the sales portion of this, how that gets divvied out, because it's different than you just getting that whole thing. I understand that. That's the unique part about network marketing. Marketing. So we're going to jump down. Product, we outsourced it. Done. We don't have to think about it too hard. I mean, our only real responsibility with the product is to go get as knowledgeable as we possibly can about that product. So when we're talking to people, there are no questions that we can't answer. That's about it. You know, every question they have, and it's funny because in any product, they have the same 4 to 7 questions, and you just need to know the 4 to 7 responses. So it's not super hard. All right. So marketing. Oftentimes people forget that there are 2 words in network marketing. Network marketing, by definition, is going out there and selling a program to your network. You know, selling a product to your network, right? So you're going to go out there and you're going to sell to your network, and with any luck, they're going to sell to their network, and their network's going to sell to their network, and their network's going to sell to their network. The world's changed a little bit, and if you're limiting yourself to just doing that, you will never stop. You will always be doing that. You will always be trying to find new people, new networks that you can get into so they can go to their network, so they can go to their network, so they can go to their networks. Has it worked in the past? Yes. It has worked for a lot of people. Has it worked for the majority of people? Not as well as one would like. It's great in theory, but it takes everybody having the same mindset. I put in something like 100 personals in my last company, and out of those 100 people, most of them, over 90% of them, were doing it as a favor to me. I'm like, here, buy this thing. I have this company. I have this business. Most of them weren't necessarily doing it because they want to do the business. Somewhere, a handful did. I ran in entrepreneurial circles, but if you talk to a lot of network marketers, finding 2, 3, 4, 5 people to duplicate the way you want to duplicate, that's just hard to come by. So you need to create a consistent pipeline of marketing. And can that be outsourced? Well, obviously I'm sitting here to say, yes, it can. So sorry, that's the end of the story. Now let's fill in the middle a little bit. So marketing is the second word in network marketing. True or true? True. I'm going to assume everybody's raising their hand listening to a podcast. So marketing is the second word. Now, we've done previous episodes and things like that where another person we interviewed, they called it the customer acquisition strategy. In modern era network marketing, having a good customer acquisition strategy is also key. Just like having a good product is key. Having a customer acquisition strategy that does not just rely on finding somebody else that wants to do exactly what it is that you're doing. If you're constantly if your entire strategy is just find this person, get into their network, and they may or may not even let you into their network, and then find, some of their people, like, it works to an extent, but you are always going to be grinding. So what else can we do from a customer acquisition strategy? Well, there's a bunch of different things that we can do. And there's a lot of different things that we talk about and we teach within, our VIP mastermind group on Facebook and also within our trainings. So I don't want to go into huge depth on like the one thing that you need to do, because it's not just one thing. I'm sorry, it's not that easy. It's still work. You need to figure out what it is, what can consistently generate leads into your business, which is really all marketing is. And I was going to say, and then sell them, close them. But that comes into the sales piece, which I'm going to talk about next. So, the marketing piece is probably the hardest one for most network marketers. How do I go out there and develop a marketing machine that is not just grinding all day, every single day? Calling my downline, seeing who has somebody I can talk to, finding somebody else, asking them to unload their phone onto a pad of paper and send it to me. What else can I do to generate leads into my world, into my life, into my business? So that piece, I'm not going to give you the answers here. So sorry, this part got, I probably just deflated somebody. I'm not going to give you the exact answers here, but here's what I can tell you from a high level overview of developing a marketing strategy like that. It's about finding the right teams and people that can do it at a price point that makes sense. So whether you're hiring somebody or you're doing something yourself, you need to create some kind of lead generators. So we use different people that run social media campaigns for us, that do paid traffic, that do organic traffic, that drive leads into into All-In Networker. We've got it all set up to where we've got machines for building network marketing businesses, things like that. We drive everything through Networker Pro, which occasionally on a lot of podcasts we have a commercial for right in the middle. It's another company and a product that I have a stake in. So full disclosure, yes, I have a stake in it. Well, at the same time, it's a funnel building software that automates email marketing and text marketing and things like that. But it gives us something to drive leads to and capture leads. And then it's up to us to go out there and consistently provide them with content and value. And ultimately, a percentage of them will buy or join our thing. So that's, the marketing piece is where are you going to do it? I mean, there's so many places. I mean, so many places and different ways to skin that cat. It's a completely different episode. Completely. If you go back, a good one that we did a few months ago was the one with Sachin Govender. I mean, go listen to that one. That's basic 101 social media marketing stuff that anybody can do, that anybody could start now and start building their team. If all they did was what he talked about on that podcast, 2 years from now, your life looks totally different. So go back and look at that. It's somewhere, I want to say is around, episode 10, somewhere right in that range, maybe a few before that. So it's a good episode. So look at that. So figuring out a way to automate your leads. This is going to be the hardest part for most people. The other parts are all actually pretty easy. So this is where you need to focus your time. Those around marketing. Because as soon as you crack the code on this for you and your business and your situation, it's like all of a sudden, it's like this instant burst of freedom and opportunity and potential scalability. So you want to be able to crack that code as soon as you can around the marketing piece. And as soon as you can crack that, as soon as you can not just crack that code, but you're also able to remove yourself from that situation, the easier life is going to get fast. It's going to happen quickly. So we want to be able to remove ourselves from that. But that's the one where we're most likely going to spend most of our time. And I'm going to come back after I talk about sales and deliverability here a little bit, just because that's the one where we're going to spend our time. I'm going to talk about where you should focus your time while you're initially building your business, because these other things are all a lot more outsourceable. I don't know if that's a word, I just made it up, but they're a lot more outsourceable. We already outsourced the product. So sales is the next piece. How do we outsource sales? Sales is one of the trickiest ones in a lot of businesses, in most general businesses, not talking about network marketing. Sales is one of the hardest things to outsource, to find good salespeople to go do stuff. Network marketing, outsourcing sales is just built in. It's just part of the strategy. It's just part of what it is. Developing the systems to create salespeople, leaders, people in your downline that can actually go out there and do stuff. That's just part of it. So if you have that path, and we've talked about this path in previous episodes recently here, you've got the path of how do you effectively sell and close people into your business and your opportunity. And as you are doing that, and as you get good at it, you're developing this system. You're developing it whether you know you are or you're not. And the opportunity for you to become that next level leader and to remove yourself from that situation to ultimately be able to not have to be a part of that is how can you effectively train the right people that come in through your efforts to do the exact same thing. I mean, that's why network marketing is so beautiful. If you can teach them to do what you just did, you can take one step backwards and you're that much further removed, because then if you have your lead generation machine already running, if you figured out that piece, you got that running and you got people that can sell, connect those two dots and things are just moving, they're rolling. I mean, what role do you really have at that point aside from like running around and patting people on the back and saying good job? So there is one more thing when you are delegating and trying to remove yourself from sales. I said you can only take one step back when you are able to teach people to do what it is you're doing in sales to effectively close. At some point, to take that second step back and more so remove yourself is going to be able to, you got to be able to teach them to teach other people to do it. So we got those two levels. And how do you outsource or automate these types of systems? Well, you can do that easily by developing your own team websites, your team membership sites, your team member training platforms, all of that. If you guys don't have that, if your upline doesn't have that, if you don't have that, if you haven't developed it, it needs to be developed. If your upline doesn't have it, it's on you. It's on your shoulders. You got to do it, or you got to find yourself in a situation where you do have that and the opportunity to do that. Because you need to have some kind of sales training system that is unique to you and your team and how you're building your business. That is unique to how it is that you are driving leads, how you're driving traffic, how you are building, how you're getting in front of new people. That's not one size fit all. If there's one problem with the industry of network marketing, it's that so many companies, and I don't blame the companies for this. They're doing what they really have to do. Their hands are tied, but they need to create one general system that appeals to the masses. And nothing really actually appeals to the masses. Go try and sell the same thing to everybody out there. It doesn't exactly work. We need to create systems that hone in. When I'm creating a lead generating machine, I'm creating it focused in on one specific, customer demographic. Maybe it's auto mechanics from Sacramento. I don't know. I'm focusing in on one customer and I'm giving them a message that I know is going to appeal to them, so it brings them into my world. I can't send that same message to the dentist in Ohio. So it's different. So our messages and our marketing machines need to be unique and they need to be different to bring in the person. Well, the sales process, the sales training tools that we develop and we create, if we want to build sales reps and we want to start removing ourselves from sales, is we need to have team training. Team training that teaches people to sell to the customers that we are bringing in, to the prospects that we are bringing in. I hope that makes sense. That gets really, really like deep for a lot of people in network marketing because they don't like to look at it like that. So many people in this industry simply still play by the old playbook that is take everybody in your phone, dump them out, and show them the same video that 100,000 other random people just watched. And I could not be further from that mentality. I cannot dislike, the generalness of that probably more. And that's where, Dr. Peach not being here, it's allowing me to be free to speak my own mind because, he's got a big organization, big team. He has to do certain things in generalities, and I get it. And when you get that big, there's things that you need to do. But for the most part, if you're building your business, don't go after everybody. Pick a group of people you want to go after. Pick your ideal customer. Pick your ideal avatar. Pick the people that you speak the best to. Focus in on those people and just steamroll, drive right through them in a straight line, blinders on. These are the people that I want in my business. Go after them. Get your vernacular really good around them. Figure out their pain points and then develop that system, that training system that you can pass on to the people that join within your organization. So the fastest growing team within Dr. Peach's organization, they are focused on one demographic. It's so specific. One specific demographic that is so tightly narrowed, and they're just crushing it right now. They got their messaging down. They can teach it to the people that are on the team. They can teach it to the new people that are coming in, because when you're focused in on that demographic and you bring in somebody from that demographic, who do they go after? That same demographic. So anyways, I'm like running around on tangents like crazy today. Hopefully you guys are okay with it. So this is the sales piece. So we're trying to outsource the four major functions of business: product, marketing, sales, deliverability, right? So we talked about product. I already outsourced that, right? So I feel like I'm singing that 12 Days of Christmas song right now, and Partridge, and we're going all the way back to the beginning. Product, we outsourced that by joining a network marketing company in the first place. Marketing, we need to develop the systems, the lead generating machine. But once we have that machine developed, it is easy and cheap to hire people to run and maintain that machine. 3, outsourcing sales. Outsourcing sales, network marketing is just like the gift that keeps on giving, because it is an industry that is designed for outsourcing sales and for you to make more money. You build a downline, you build leaders, you build training for them, you build opportunities for them. If you can be the leader that can't just figure out, you don't just figure out how to train people how to sell, but you've also figured out the lead generation machine, how they can do it for themselves, how you can do it, how you can keep their calendar full. Think about that. Like all of a sudden, like you are gold. People are running to join your team. So it's a heck of a lot easier than, constant, like 10 hours a day on Zoom presentations nonstop. So there's that. Then the final thing that you need to figure out how to outsource if you really want to start getting your life back and you really want to minimize the amount of hours that you have to work every single day, every single week, is the deliverability of your product. So at the beginning of this podcast, I talked about, we're talking about this in generalities of business. All businesses work this way: product, marketing, sales, deliverables. So here within network marketing, obviously deliverability is already completely outsourced, just like product is. We joined a network marketing company so we could outsource product. Well, at the same time, we get to outsource deliverability and, for the most part, customer service. I believe that a lot of reps could do more with customer service, especially on the front end when brand new people join. I believe creating some automation that's really simple to do. You spend one time for maybe, call it a full day, call it a full 8-hour day, building out an email campaign that new customers get on, where you are just consistently saying, hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you being here. Here's a tip on how you can get the most out of this product. Next day, hey, thanks for being here again. We're having so much fun over here, and this is how I use the product. Hey, thanks for being here. Here's another feature of the product maybe you didn't know about. And you put together that one campaign. You spend an entire day doing it, a whole day. It'll pay so many dividends in the long run. Like, I do believe some of that customer service you should do up front, because they're buying from you or somebody on your team, somebody in your organization. That personal touch, it's going to change your world. We did another podcast, another interview back in June, and the couple we were talking to had 800,000 people in their downline. 80% of their sales every month were coming from customers, not from reps. If you didn't listen to that one, I wanted to say that statement again. If you listen to that episode, you understood what I'm talking about. 80% of their customers come from customers, not from, it's because of the experience they show their customers. They pay attention to their customers. So, all right, I'm going to circle this all back around here because I got to wrap up. I'm already going long for time. But so where do you spend your time? We want to outsource these 4 different things. As soon as we can outsource the effort that goes into these 4 different things, we start really, truly getting our time back, which is what we want, right? We still want to run a good, successful organization. So we got to figure out the systems for product, marketing, sales, and deliverability. We figure that out. We get other people doing it. We're able to start stepping back and stepping back and stepping back. With that being said, as we're doing that, where do we want to consistently put our time? What time we do put into the business? For me, and I suspect for a lot of people, it's going to be in that marketing phase. It's going to be a constant effort of how do I drive more leads into our business? How do I drive more traffic, more business, more people into our business? How do I get more prospects? So we look at it like it's a customer service kind of based approach. So as people are coming in through the machine, a very small percentage will buy right out of the chute, a very small percentage, but that leaves this big giant percentage up above that we get to pay attention to. So our regular efforts, my regular efforts, go into content creation for that group of people. And it's not difficult content creation. It is waking up early, like I do anyways, and spend, half hour, 45 minutes writing an email to that big audience. What do I do to consistently keep them engaged? Same thing with the customers. How do we work with what we have, the emails we already have? That's how I spend most of my time. If we're working on a lead generation machine of some sort, I'm there at a very high level, and then we bring in, some different experts here and there to help make that machine work. But after that, it's all about content for those people, because if you're the leader of your own team, and it doesn't mean you have a team yet, you might have nobody yet, and you're becoming that leader, and you're manifesting this in your head, and you've got you to the end, to the finish line path mapped out in your head. That's fine. You need to start creating, what does your customer experience look like? The customers that join your team, or the customers that buy through your organization. I want the customers that buy through any organization that I help run to have a better experience than the customers from any other organization in that same company. Keep that mentality with you. So I want to spend time with that, and I want to spend time with content creation for people that are in our prospect pipeline. And that's where I spend my time, and that's where I enjoy doing the most stuff within that business, and that, and within helping Dr. Peach develop his organization. So, I would encourage you think about those 2 different things. Write them down on a piece of paper: product, marketing, sales, deliverability. Put them all there. What needs to happen for systems to be built around each of those? How do you outsource them, and how do you step away from them? And then where do you spend your time? So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this sucker up. We did not do I'm not going to insert the commercial for Networker Pro, but I do think everybody should check it out if you haven't. Networkerpro.io. You can get a free 14-day trial to check it out. It is the ultimate platform for building sales funnels, for building a system for your team, for building your training, your membership sites, for all of that stuff. If you want to create some really cool products or things like that you create yourself, that you can use for marketing to bring prospects into your world, that's another great way to get prospects into your world, that ultimately some of them will raise their hand and say they want to join your business. So I think you should go check out networkerpro.io. And then, of course, you can always go check out all of our trainings at allinnetworker.com. And we'd love to see you there as well. So I appreciate everybody. I will be back next week. Most likely, I would say, unless he is still traveling the world with Dr. David Peach. And we will see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to the All In Networker podcast. Dr. David Peach and I greatly appreciate it. If you receive some value, or you know somebody that would receive some value, please share this episode with them. We want to pick up the entire industry, help serve the entire industry of network marketing. We believe that when other network marketers win, we all win. So on top of that, if you'd like to check out some of our free trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com. Otherwise, please just rate, subscribe to this episode, this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks a lot.